Welcome to the Common Room. Yes, another huge episode for you today. I am your host, Brayden Green, and I am joined by my great co-host, who is...
Ashleigh McFadden. And I tell you what, I'm excited for this week's show because guess what? We got a special guest.
Woohoo! We got our very first interview.
That's exciting. Shall we introduce her, seeing that she's sitting right here? It's Jessica Woolfendale.
That's me.
How are you today, Jess?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you
10
excited?
out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. That's good. Good energy. We need that energy sometimes.
We need that vibe train. It's good.
Now, Jess, we've got you in today to talk about your recent experience with basically being a director and the whole COVID situation brought that to a bit of a halt, really, didn't
Yeah,
it?
very, very short-lived experience that one was. We got about a week into rehearsals and that's about it.
A week. So let's give some context out there. So it was The Drowsy Chaperone.
Yeah. A show called The Drowsy Chaperone up in Balaclava.
Yep, and it was going to be your debut, basically.
Yeah. So that was my first experience as a director. I'd been planning the show for about a year.
I mean, that's a big ask to be chucked in the deep end like that with COVID. How did you handle that?
So we sort of handled it by talking a lot to the production team, to the cast, making sure everyone felt comfortable with the current situation. And eventually it was a unanimous decision that we'd halt progress, we'd delay it until next year, and then unfortunately the dates just didn't line up.
So is there any chance that we get to see the show next year?
Not next year, but we do have it still on the cards for the future. It is quite a large chorus musical, so it's really just not viable to do with sort of the social distancing rules, I guess.
Oh, far out. I mean, how shattering was that for you?
It sucked, if I'm being perfectly honest, but life moves on, there's more opportunities out there and we'll get to it someday.
And you're in the second week, so you've done the read-through?
Yep, there we go. Yeah, we've done the read-through, we've done one music rehearsal, and on the day of the choreography rehearsal, that's it.
Oh, that's devastating. Everyone's all keyed up, ready to go, and flushed down the toilet.
Yep.
How long did it take to get the cast all together? Give our listeners a bit of an idea how long it takes just to get that all together in the first place.
Definitely. So you have to apply to the rights for the musical at least 3 months before. We did it about 9 months in advance. From there, we started doing some set design. We went through the script. We made sure everyone had copies of the music. We went through the audition process, which took us about a couple of weeks to get all our cast together. From there, we had to find out everyone's availabilities, come up with a rehearsal schedule, which spanned across 3 months of rehearsals, which I needn't tell you takes a little while to get everyone available and willing.
Yeah.
And then, so whole thing altogether, probably 9 months leading up to it. Had about 5 weeks with the full cast together, and...
Ouch. Did you take much of a financial hit at all?
It wasn't too bad. Luckily, we hadn't started building any of the set. Through Balaclava Community Arts, we have access to the Town Hall and to Horizon Christian College, so we weren't charged for that in the end. We did take a little bit of a hit with the rights for it. We had paid for the rights, unfortunately, but luckily the rights community is being pretty chill with the whole thing because it's just such an unforeseen circumstance, people having to cancel things last minute.
How'd the cast take it?
Cast were pretty good about it, honestly. I think by the time it all came around, they'd been expecting it. It's something that no one really knew how to deal with, and they understood that we were dealing with it in a really responsible manner. There are obviously a few broken hearts, a couple of people who had gotten their first chance at doing a musical, first chance at playing a lead role. And unfortunately, that's just not for them today. But
So, Jess, what's next?
What's next? A lot. We're starting to come back up in the theatre community. We've got Her Majesty's Theatre back up and running, which is super exciting.
I've seen pictures. It's very nice inside.
It's gorgeous. No, I can't wait to get in there. Next, I'm doing a placement with State Opera with Summer of the 17th Doll, which is debuting in a couple months. Going to be fantastic. Can't wait to jump into that.
Back into the cancellation. How did that affect the town of Balaclava? Because Balaclava is quite a known town, I guess you would say, for country theatre. And do you think it had much of an impact on the community? Because I'm guessing your show wouldn't have been the only one impacted, of course.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it was pretty gutting, especially for the schools around there. They had to cancel their musicals or delay them a bit. It definitely impacted how everyone thought about the arts, and you don't know what you got till it's gone. And as soon as that's all taken away from you, you can really see the impact of it.
Now, of course, you're still a university student at the moment. What degree exactly are you in again?
Bachelor of Arts in Performing Arts and Creative Writing.
Yeah. Would you say that this degree is probably one of the most affected? How are the other students gone during this period, I guess you would say? How have they dealt with this? Because I remember when we were in Performing Arts, Ash, I couldn't imagine doing a show without a crowd.
I know.
That blows my mind.
Well, it really meant that people have to rethink what performing arts is. A lot of people are going online. I believe some shows are going on Twitch. Mm-hmm. How's that affecting your course?
Yeah, definitely. So we had quite a few people in our course, especially the big third year production, really had to rethink how they were going to do things. They looked at a lot of options. They looked at potentially doing a show with major social distancing, but then again, the rules for how many people were allowed in a room at once were constantly changing. In the end, they ended up doing it on Twitch, which was an amazing experience to watch. And a lot of shows are going up at the moment online, for a certain period of time, which has actually been really great to see theatre you might not ordinarily get to see.
And it's meant they've had to adapt, and I think that's what theatre does best.
Yeah.
Adapting to new technologies and new circumstances that have had to come into place.
Yeah, you almost have to embrace it, don't you? If you don't embrace the new technologies or embrace the way you die out, basically.
You're dead.
And
Yeah.
how do you think you came to that challenge? What was the most challenging part when you come to embracing? What are your I guess your techniques of how to adapt to a new technology or a new way of presenting things?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it, I think, especially with the pandemic side of things, is trial and error. You just got to see what works, see what doesn't. You got to get the cast used to not having the feedback of an audience if they're performing to a camera. You got to get people used to coming to the theatre early so they can be seated separately, and not getting to sit next to your family and friends watching a performance, having that immediate feedback of it. But at the same time, it's something that we all just love so much that it doesn't matter what medium we're doing it in, we'll always love doing it.
Yeah. So let's look at more positive things. Now, of course, me and Ash have an affiliation with Jessica, of course, because we work with her on Challenge Accepted, and there's new episodes coming soon, isn't there? You excited?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I've seen a couple of the challenges so far, and they are juicy.
Juicy indeed.
That's one word to describe it.
Yep, delectable, delicious.
What would you say to students who are currently in performing arts or still want to be in the performing arts even after this? What would be your biggest tips?
Definitely a place for you in it. Don't give up. Make sure you find the connections, find people who are passionate. Make sure you're passionate about it. Don't do something you don't love.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we look to do at Challenge Accepted. So if anyone is looking to join Challenge Accepted, why not give us a message on the common room? We can point you in the right direction, can't we, Ash?
We certainly can. We need new people to make a new show.
Whether if it's just techs or, cast members like Jess here.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. Way too much fun, honestly.
Way too much fun for a uni.
Way
For a uni
too
show.
much.
No, uni is not meant to be fun, and that's what everyone says about it. Mm-hmm. And we've got to adapt to the new circumstances as well. Challenge Accepted may be a bit different if we can't have a crowd in, and it's going to be the same for theatre shows as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really interested how we're going to do comedy without a crowd. This is going to be, I think, one of the biggest challenges we've ever come across.
Laugh tracks.
You're going to go laugh tracks?
Yep, 100%.
Well, that's the interesting. That's when we come down to the debate, isn't it? Do we use a laugh track or do we just use the crew as laughing? Because it's going to be weird. Because for people that don't know, Challenge Accepted doesn't use a laugh track. We're one of the very few comedy shows that probably do that. We are genuine live audience reaction. So I'm really interested to see how we're going to be able to deal with that. As a cast member in a comedy, how do you learn to keep going when you've got no reaction, Jess? How do you?
Experience, and nervousness.
Yeah.
Basically, you just got to keep going until you find something that works. If your tack isn't working, you switch tracks and hopefully you find the rhythm of the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. It's a good
I
answer.
often find audiences are wrong, though. They
Constantly.
don't know what is funny. I know it's funny. They often don't laugh at the right places. And I think this pandemic has really given us an opportunity to make some things that I actually find funny, but audiences may not.
Yeah, never second guess yourself. You are always correct.
I am always correct. That is correct, yes.
No, he's not. 90% of the time, he's not.
Oh, you're so mean, Brayden. Why are you so mean to me? I've got
Yeah.
a guest here.
That's the whole point.
And I'm 100% on Ashleigh's side. Every
See
time.
that?
I know.
I like this. Let's keep a guest on all the time. I like someone who agrees with me.
Yep.
This is excellent.
Thank you for joining us today, Jess. We've really appreciated, and we really hope you can inspire the next group of performing arts students, and we really hope your career reaches these next steps during these scary pandemic years.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, and we'll see you on Challenge Accepted, where you must complete our crazy challenges and hopefully get a little tiny trophy. You are listening to The Common Room. It is time for a music break.